The most important thing in life is to do those things in your life which outlast life.
For this award, I am sure there are many more deserving. However, I am sure none are more grateful.
And when my life is done, may God say, well done, peace and love are one.
Now is the time to lift our national policy from the quicksand of racial injustice.
When I was a child, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer. Over 500 people in this hall tonight will die of cancer.
You know, I think that simply to be alive in America today in the years of the 70s is an adventure unparalleled in history.
I recently worked closely with Jaycees chapters in Louisville, Kentucky. In a civic improvement bond campaign I headed. Your help was invaluable.
Every creature which still exists on this limited planet has survived because it could adapt to a changing environment.
The work of God must truly be the work of man.
The U.S. Jaycees annually sponsor a Congress honoring 10 outstanding young men. This is the Jaycee tribute to young ideas and approaches that are vital to the growth of America. The concept for recognition of America's 10 outstanding young men was fathered by Durward Howes, publisher of the yearly volume, America's Young Men. After serving as National Jaycee President 1930 to 31, Howes published his own selection for the 12 outstanding young men. In 1937, his selections were cut from 12 to 10, the number now honored. Since 1942, the honorees have been selected by a panel of distinguished judges. Among them this year was former President Lyndon Johnson. Since 1956, each of the 10 has received the distinctive trophy, the Hands. This impressive sculpture was designed for the Jaycees by Arthur Mayfield Kraft, a TOIM honoree in 1954. The silver statuette is in the form of 2 vertical hands outstretched to meet. The Memphis Jaycees, who are the host chapter, worked on the planning of this event for over 2 years.
As you know, the Congress is only 10 or 11 days away, and now as we draw closer, I can just think of 3.5 years ago, more than 50% of our work is ahead of us tonight.
The one formal opportunity for the general delegation to communicate with the honorees is the forum. Any Jaycee may ask any question from the floor of the honorees. This was an extremely popular part of the Congress with the honorees. Each one of them gave honest, down-to-earth, inspirational responses. A nationally known figure is always asked to keynote the Congress. This year in Memphis was no exception, as George Bush, the new ambassador to the United Nations, expressed his thoughts.
Given your fantastic performance of these 10 people now, to think, giving their talents and multiplying it, but what each of you out there can do, to think about what lies ahead. Each of you's got to look at service to his country the same way that the little kid in Sunday school responded when he was asked the easy question, the slow ball by the teacher. You know, that final day in Sunday school when they show the kids off to the parents, you know? Came along and they said to this little kid, "Who made you?" And he thought for a minute, and then he said, "I don't know. I'm not done yet." Thank you very much.
The climax to a prestigious weekend is the award ceremony televised to a regional audience in the Memphis area. The honorees take the opportunity to express their innermost feelings, thoughts, and desires. Thomas I. Adkins, 31, is a Boston City councilor. He battled with the handicaps of poverty, obscurity, and crippling disease in his rise to success and leadership. He exemplifies the success possible for all Americans with determination and ability. Dr. George Joseph Tadaro, 33, Chief Viral Leukemia and Lymphoma Branch, National Cancer Institute, Bethesda, Maryland. He was the first investigator to demonstrate that a naturally occurring virus could transform human cells. Someday, through men like him, we will conquer cancer. And this brilliant scientist has brought us several steps closer to that day. Paul William Buca, 27, Assistant Professor, United States Military Academy, West Point. Buca is a recipient of the highest military honor bestowed by the United States. President Nixon conferred on him the Congressional Medal of Honor for bravery above and beyond the call of duty in Vietnam. Walter Johann Heumann, 33, Vice President, Secretary, and General Counsel, LTV Aerospace Corporation, Dallas. He is one of the youngest major corporation executives in the nation, sharing in the management of a $750 million corporation, and has also achieved outstanding local and national recognition for civic and governmental accomplishments. James Burton Getz, 34, former Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, from St. Paul. Jim Getz blends dedication, energy, natural governmental ability, and creative imagination into his dynamic personal leadership. He is one of the nation's emerging Republican leaders. Harry Wendell Cherry, 34, President, Extendicare Incorporated, Louisville, Kentucky. Cherry, in a single decade, has co-founded a $55 million a year corporation, co-founded Kentucky's largest law firm, and has co-purchased a professional basketball team. Ronald Louis Ziegler, 31, Press Secretary to the President of the United States, Washington, D.C. He has excelled in one of the most sensitive jobs in Washington. As Press Secretary, he is the official news spokesman for the President and the White House staff. His respect for newsmen and their audiences have played a perceptible role in creating a new confidence between the White House and the American people. Edward Thomas Call, 30, National Director, Revitalization Corps, Hartford, Connecticut. Call, at 30, has virtually no personal belongings, for he has given his last 7 years in volunteer work and has encouraged thousands of Americans to get involved in his Revitalization Corps, started in honor of the late President Kennedy. Mario R. Capecchi, 32, Assistant Professor of Biological Chemistry, Harvard Medical School, Boston. His brilliant research has contributed significantly to man's understanding of the fundamental operations of cells, and he has also dealt with all the crucial events in the recent dramatic work in the synthesis of proteins. Elvis Aaron Presley, 35, musician, entertainer, Memphis, Tennessee. The success of Presley is a phenomenon of the entertainment world. He is one of the most well-known and prolific entertainers in the nation. 51 of his single records have won gold record awards for sales of more than 1 million records. Unlike other entertainers, he has intentionally concealed many acts of philanthropy which might have brought him considerable publicity.
I read comic books and I was the hero of the comic book. I saw movies and I was the hero in the movie. So every dream that I ever dreamed has come true 100 times. And these gentlemen over here, you see these type of people who care, who are dedicated, you realize that it's not possible that they might be building the kingdom of heaven. It's not too far-fetched in reality. I'd like to say that I learned very early in life that without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, a man ain't got a friend. Without a song, the road would never bend. Without a song. So I'll keep singing a song. Good night. Thank you.
USJC President Thomas brings the Congress to a most meaningful conclusion.
As we come to this, the conclusion, the 33rd such event honoring America's 10 outstanding young men, I wonder what the next 30 years will hold in store for this observance. Will we continue to have men of the caliber we have seen here tonight? Indeed, what will be considered outstanding in the years to come? I can't predict the future, but I'm hoping there will be many future Taderos and Capeckis who will involve themselves in the war against disease. I hope we will never run out of men like Atkins and Cole, men dedicated to social justice. We need more men of integrity like Ron Ziegler and more entrepreneurs like Wendell Cherry. We will always need men like Buca and Heumann who are committed to our nation's success, and men like Getz and Presley who are products of that success. Speaking as an American, let me say that our country will always need men of excellence, for a nation's young men are the only hope in a changing world. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen and witnessed that hope.